All right, says we live, so let me check.
Okay.
All right, we good.
We good. Okay.
All right,
Hey, hey, Shalom, Makyam.
Shalom.
I want to give all praise to our Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh
Yahweh,
by Shem
Hashem,
Shah
Yah,
by Shem
Hashem,
Kadash.
Shadash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders that were well and peace and many salutations. You got count tooling in this truth. Now, if you guys been paying attention, uh, we've been going over eugenic feminism. Now, eugenic feminism is staged in the false science or a term called scientific racism. Uh, Feminism, eugenic feminism is the female counterpart to uh, basically racism, if you will, or male blatant racism, because it states that yes, we want to proliferate our race, but in order to do so, we need certain rights that's going to help us as white women progress. Okay, so we're painting a picture here that it's not feminism was never about helping the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American woman. We went into we expounded on that in the second video that we went over, which
Mhm.
we covered the second wave of feminism, which incorporated uh, the Southern tribe woman, but in doing so, separated her from the male counterpart, right? And this was funded by several small hat people. The one in particular, the brother had brought out. What's her name, brother?
Judith
Uh,
Butler.
uh, well, not Judas Butler. The one that we talked about last week. Uh,
Uh, Eddie.
Gwen, um, the CIA agent.
Oh, Gloria Steinem.
Yeah, right. We talked about Gloria Steinem last time and how she heavily influenced Jake uh, in the second wave of feminism, right, to separate from their husbands or their male counterpart. Now we're going to discuss the third wave, which entering into the third wave of feminism was really what they always wanted to do, and that was to control sex,
Mhm.
right? Under the banner of transhumanism. Now, transhumanism is the revived version of eugenics,
Yep.
right? And what is eugenics? The proliferation of the genes that are deemed as superior and are doing away with people who have genes that are uh, weak
Inferior.
or inferior. Okay, which is us. So they've been doing these things so they can limit the Israelites' growth.
Yep.
Okay, and also they want Jake as many Jakes as possible to bow down to their God, and we're going to connect the God and bring out certain points to illustrate the ways in which, or the tools in which, they are uh, causing Jake to bow the knee to these demons. Okay,
Kind.
so let's. Did you have any, brother? You want me to?
I had the Romans 1:25. You want to start with that?
Okay, okay, kind.
Kind. This is Romans chapter 1, verse 25. It says, "Who changed the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahushai into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen."
Hey, Malak, can you start at 21?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
The Romans 1 and 21. It says, "Because that when they knew Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they glorified him, not as Yahweh Shem Yahushai, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened."
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools
Mm-hmm.
and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like to corruptible man and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
That's right. And what do you see going on now? Where they're pushing the image of transgender Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
right? To to push what? To push idol worship,
Right,
right? To push really sacred rites that the pagans would use in order to worship Asterisk, which we're not
yep,
going to get to. I don't want to jump the gun, but these uh, subtle things that they're doing are causing immense rebellion throughout the world. And these are people who the people who are funding this are supposedly supposed to be the people of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, or the people of God, the
right,
Israelites.
right. And to add
Okay?
to that, that goes to show you that these damn devils are pushing heavy, demonic enchantments on these people to make them, idolaters, man. Because as the brother was, going into these different things that these quote unquote scientists, are pushing forth. They're showing you that they're nothing more than modern day witches and warlocks, man. Because they're pushing these different idolistic rituals and pretty much things of worship unto the people, but masking it under the mask of science, pretty much, man.
That's
Which is
right.
really pseudoscience.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful put. Beautifully put. You know. Did you
All
want to
right.
get back to the script?
Yep. Continuing on, verse 24, Romans 1:24. Wherefore Yahweh Shem Yahushua also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts,
Mm-hmm.
to dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It says, who changed the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahushua into a lie,
Mm-hmm.
and worship and serve the creature more than the creator who is blessed forever among.
That's right. And you have a lot of these women out here under the banner of feminism, worship themselves, worship flesh, worship the looks. You know what I'm saying? Worship the female anatomy, right? And really, that vibration goes back to the ancient times, man.
Mm-hmm.
To these various ancient gods that are called fertility cults. And in order for our people to worship these gods, they had to commit very, very lewd acts, in the temple.
Yep.
That's why we were sanctioned not to, go after temple harlots, man. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
about a lot of our people are engaging in these acts and getting and becoming unclean, right, and becoming vain in understanding.
Yep.
Okay, empty. That's what the word vain means, empty. Do you have some a lot?
Uh, you have that wisdom of Solomon if you wanted that right now.
Con, that would be beautiful. Go ahead, brother. I'm gonna well now go ahead. I was gonna say I can share my screen, but you
Kind.
can go ahead.
Well, you can share it while I read it.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't want
All right. Did you want to start at 21, right?
to yeah, we can start at 21. 21
Okay.
be cool.
So this is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21. It says, and this was an occasion. So I can add that real quick. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21. And it reads, and this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the uncommunicable name.
Yeah, the incommutable name. So you have people out there that are worshiping that our people were worshiping stocks like cattle and things of that nature. Case in point, what's that? Apex the bull,
Yeah.
right? Our people were worshiping that, even in Egypt, worshiping dang on stones,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that was causing what? It was causing, ignorance to flourish in our people, or sin. And what happened? The Most High will always send amendment.
Yep.
And this is the same thing that's going on now. Now it's on not only in the Israelites that are going off, but the whole world is perverse. Go
Mhm.
ahead, Doc.
Verse 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace.
So the plagues they call peace. You turn on the dang on television now, and you'll see two men flogging, skipping down the road, frolicking down the road, talking about now with my new HIV pill, I'm not even detectable.
Right,
So they're able to live with these plagues, but they say that's peace and love. When these various lewd acts causes destruction of the body
right.
and of the mind.
Yeah, and to add to that as well, as far as the lesbian, side of the coin, you know, they mask this as this is the new form of love amongst women because they try to put this whole vibration out there that men are toxic. Men, we don't need men, so they advise women to get with other women. But when you go into the whole, dark side of what that entails, man, domestic violence amongst lesbians is a much higher rate than it is amongst men and women. And as of late, you've been seeing a lot more of these cases of where these damn these butchers and these dykes been putting their girlfriends to death, or they like pretty much beat them, almost to death, man. So it's that part of the plagues as well, man, because they're not talking about the downside of what that lifestyle entails, man.
That's right. Beautiful. The water.
Continue on, verse 23. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled,
Hmm.
but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery.
That's right. Hey, so they kill children in sacrifices, man, and use other secret ceremonies, which we're gonna get into, and strange rites to conjure up these guys and things of that nature. And what did that cause? It caused decadence in the community, or in on a nuclear family, or in the family, or the nucleus level of a community. Decadence.
Right.
That's why you see marriage at like the brother just brought out. First off, marriage between man and woman, or is in a disarray. Then you're allowing the same sex to marry one another, and they're killing one another, man.
Hmm.
You know, grieving one another. Everybody's grieved by adultery. Everybody got their chipped on each other because of the opposite sex.
Yep.
Now all these coins and things, coin terms for the opposite sex, right? A F boy, hobosexual. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Bro.
This or that, a passport bro. You know what I'm saying? you know, and it's because you know we're under this strange vibration, man.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is perpetrated on purpose, because going into this once again, read it over one more time. It says, verse Wisdom of Solomon 14:23. For while they slew their children in sacrifices, or used great ceremony, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously, or grieved him by adultery. Because
Right,
these
treacherously.
different, like treacherously, it
Hmm.
says that they pretty much they're committing these different acts thinking that it's in the name of pleasure or love, but unbeknownst to them they're actually committing spiritual idolatry, because when you look at the things that are being done amongst these households with these people,
Hmm.
they're breeding a family line of idolaters by doing these different things, man. Because
Hmm.
by you pushing forth, saying that which we're gonna get into in a little bit with the whole astral worship, but the you know anal sex, and you have the child molestation and different things like that. That's a form of sacrificing as well. It ain't gotta be just straight out killing, because the thing about how today's rituals are being done, it's more spiritualistic than actually physical. And so that's where a lot of people won't equate the two together, because they're not actually, when they hear us bring these things out, they think that people are still physically sacrificing them, which sometimes they are, but majority of the time now it's more spiritual.
Right, right, right. The founding these kids by television and indoctrination in the
Hmm.
school system. That these kids are being sacrificed.
Hmm. And then you have amongst the household, molestation taking place,
Yep.
because another part of this, third wave feminism is the whole sexual liberation, which goes hand in hand with this whole, transhuman homosexuality type thing. Because with the reason why second wave came in was to bring forth the whole thing of women's bodily autonomy. They can do whatever they want with their bodies. And this is when you started seeing, the sexual revolution tie in with third wave feminism and all that. So women were able to be more free with their bodies, which led forth to more lewd type sex acts, man.
That's right. That's right.
So continuing on, verse 25, so that there reign in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men,
Mm-hmm.
forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls,
But you just went
changing,
into.
yep, yep,
Mm-hmm.
defiling of souls, changing of kind,
That word kind, if you would have a 1611 in the margin, it goes into sex.
heavy,
Yep. Keep
dis-
going, brother.
disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanliness. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
So the problems of America, right? A first world country, the most at you know richest the richest country as of now, right? Has the cultural military what else economic influence or hegemony of
Mm-hmm.
the world, but yet these people this is what you see going on in a place like America. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that the brother just named, and now you're seeing the changing of kind or the changing of sex going on, being perpetuated, and this is being perpetuated by the tool of feminism.
Yep.
Now, let's take a look at the third wave feminism. Okay, the third wave feminism. Third wave feminism is an iteration of the first movement that began in the early 1990s, prominent in the decades prior to the fourth wave, ground in the civil rights events of the second wave, and it's very convoluted. Okay, when you read it, the critics of this of the third wave says it's very convoluted. You guys really aren't standing for anything,
Mm-hmm.
and what the critics are, failing to uh, realize that they are standing for something. They're standing for Satanism, which is
Right.
the spirit of do what thy will. You can do whatever the heck you want to, right? Sexually speaking,
Mm-hmm.
there's no norms. There is no social constructs. There is no gender. You are a god. You are autonomous, and you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
Satanism, right? On a very broad level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Gen X and early Gen Y generations, third wave feminists, born in the 1960s and 70s, embraced diversity and individualism in women, and sought to redefine what it meant to be a feminist. The third wave saw the emergence of new feminists Feminist currents and theories such as intersexual sectionality, which means basically there's a spectrum of discrimination that women face, and you might face something similar to uh, a woman that's poor being in a Mexican or Issacharite, so-called Mexican Issacharite, if you're a white woman, but the Issacharite has a different spectrum of oppression. You know, all that girly. It's very girly, right? You could tell that a woman made this, you know, to based off of her feelings, right?
Right.
That whole concept. We're not gonna get into that. Sex positivity. We know what that is. Vegetarian ecofeminism, trans feminism. You see that now, right there. Trans feminism. Okay, this is when this began to take off around in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now trans feminism, also written trans feminism, has been defined by scholar and activist Emi Kayama as a movement by as a movement for trans women who view their liberation in to be instinctually linked to the liberation of all women and beyond. And you could tell a man wrote this. It's
Right.
very direct to what the nigga want. Like, nigga, you just want to act like a girl. Uh, basically, Kayama notes that it is also open to other queers, intersex people, trans men, non-trans women, non-trans men, and other who are sympathetic towards needs of trans women and consider the alliance with trans women to be essential for their own liberation. Transfeminism has also been defined more generally as an approach to feminism that is informed by trans politics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so around the third wave of feminism, we've seen an influx of trans feminism and also the non-binary movement. Now, what is the non-binary movement? The non-binary movement states that there is no such thing. Well, there is no such thing as male or female. Okay, that's you can basically uh pick you know your sex or gender based on how you feel in that day. Okay.
Right.
So if you look up the whole term non-binary, you're not relating to composed of or involving just two things, right? The noting of relating to a gender or sexual identity that is not defined in terms of traditional binary oppositions such as male or female or homosexual and heterosexual. So this nigga is basically a transhuman, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a transhuman movement being pushed. So in order for them to push this, you know, not only do they have to uplift feminism, but they have to do away with feminism. This is the ultimate goal. They want to control sex, and with them being able to, you know, hip everybody or see hip everybody,
Yep.
you know, say for instance, if they, got a bulk of the population, they can say, hey, we got everybody chipped. We know how many, males and females we have. And in year 2054, we're going to need about uh 200 million girls. Or shoot, by then everybody be dead. But we need about 200. Well, 200. We need about 20,000 girls in this sector over here to
Mm-hmm.
live in this city that smart city that we built.
Mm-hmm.
And that's heavily monitored. Okay, cool. Well, we have the technology in place that we have mastered in order to duplicate a girl. Okay, this is what this man wants to do. Okay, so he using these movements, the feminist movements, as a catalyst to push trans transhumanism. Okay, right, which is what eugenics. Okay, so within this movement, you had thinkers or philosophers like Judith Butler. Okay, did you want to speak on this woman, brother, or you want me to read this and then speak on it?
You can read a little bit of it first.
Okay. Now, this is Judith Butler. Check this out. Judith Pamela Butler, born February 25th, 1956. And just for edification, let's go back to her. Let's go to her early life. Okay. I want you guys to see something real quick. It's real quickly. Hopefully, I didn't pass it. I might have. Let's see if I can find some. Here we go. Shit, did. Early life. Judith Butler was born on February 25th, 1956, in Cleveland, Ohio, to a family of Hungarian, Jewish, and Russian Jewish descent.
Mm.
Okay, we're gonna drop the mic right there. Let's go back up to, because if you say something, clip. But Judith
Yep.
Butler is an American philosopher and gender theorist whose work has influenced political philosophy, ethics, and fields of third wave feminism. You see that? Queer theory and literary theory. In 1993, Butler began teaching at the University of California, Berkeley, where they have served beginning in 1998. And they're talking about her, but they're speaking in, that way. So uh I'm gonna jump down to the second paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Butler is best known for their books, or her books. I'm gonna call her her. Butler is known for her books, Gender Trouble, Feminism, and the Submersion of Identity, 1990, and Bodies That Matter on the Discursive Limits of Sex, in which she challenged conventional notions of gender and development. Her theory of gender performativity. This theory has had a major influence on feminist and queer scholarship. Her work is often studied in the media and film studies courses emphasizing gender studies and performativity in discourse. I want to bring this out right here. This whole gender performativity,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what you was explaining. Um, this is what you were explaining, and you could expound on this more. After I just kind of read it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It says the term gender performativity was first coined by American philosopher and gender theorist Judith Butler in 1990 book Gender Trouble, Feminism, and the Subversion of Identity. In the book, Butler sets out to criticize that what she considered to be an outdated perception of gender. And this outdated perception, according to Butler, is limiting in that it adheres to the dominant societal constraints that labor label gender as binary. You see that? So basically, she's saying she's scrutinizing the social norms of what a girl does and what a boy does,
Mm-hmm.
right? And pushing the whole concept of non-binary, that your gender is fluid. You could,
Mm-hmm.
and scrutinizing gender Butler introduces a nuanced perception in which she unite the concepts of performativity and gender. In chapter one, Butler introduced the unification of terms gender and performativity and stating that gender proves to be performance that is constructing the identity it is purported to be. In this sense, gender is always a doing that not a doing by a subject who might be said to pre-exist the deed. And what it's like, what are you talking about? So basically, she's saying, um, she said, well, these social constructs of what a man and woman is supposed to do, you know, it's all based off of performance. Therefore, it can't be something that's set in stone
Right.
for what a man does and what a woman does. Like cook, say for instance, cooking was traditional for a woman to cook. What
Hmm.
I'm saying? So a man can't cook. That's her argument, which is
Stupid.
stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's, it's stupid.
I got something real quick before we dive in that. This is Job 13:4. It says, "But you are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value." Because what you're starting to pick up on when you start looking into the different reasons of what these people that's forwarding these different moves and these waves that we've been touching on is really of no value to humanity whenever you fully go into it, because they're masking it as this is progressive, this is groundbreaking for women, but it's actually bringing disorder. It's no purpose other than the destruction of the nuclear family and ultimately, the destruction of our people, because this is who is mainly hit hardest out of all the nations on the earth. It's hit the Israelite household, specifically the so-called blacks, but all the Israelites in general, because this damn devil has used teachings such as hers, and others to push forth this as a means of this is making things better for women. But when we actually dive into it, this shit is destructive, man.
Right.
Because not only is it physically destructive, but it's also spiritually and mentally destructive as well. Because nothing you know nothing has came out of this that has helped anyone.
Right.
Even Edomites are suffering from the teachings of this bullshit, man. You know.
Right.
So I got
Right.
one more. This is First Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. It says, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust." And what is committed to our trust, man? The teachings of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man, the scriptures, all right, that made it plain the role of what man and woman is, man. You know,
Right.
the Lord
Right.
made it plain, all right, because man and woman was put here to reproduce. That's one of the first laws that He gave us, to be fruitful and multiply, man. It's that simple. He didn't have to go all into deep of why you have to do this. It's just simple to reproduce, man. All
Right.
right.
Right. Right. And it's just like, well, if you feel like cooking as a man, see, you have to put on the feminine energy, and then like, no, it don't take all that, bro.
Right.
What are you talking about, bro?
Play the part, man.
Just
We
put it
all have
in,
parts to
bro.
play, man. And just so happened that with Esau being the master of confusion, he has tried to come in here with his serpent tongue and bring all these different things to try to convolute on what the Lord made plain, man. So the Lord told us to keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babbling.
Mm.
This is what this is, man. Profane and vain babbling and oppositions of science falsely so called.
Oh, yep.
Because this ain't real. This is not a real truth. Because
Right.
that's what science really is. It's truth. That's why the Hebrew word for science is amok. All right. And then to get in the NLT, it says, Timothy, guard what God has entrusted to you, which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It says, avoid godless, foolish discussions with those who oppose you with their so-called knowledge. Because this is what this bullshit is, man. All right, it's opposition to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's opposition to life, man. Because this whole construct of differentiating gender from sex is madness, man. Because this chick Judith Butler, they're giving her the credit, but they're not giving you the source of where she's getting this information from. Because one of the things that she was doing with her whole movement was bringing forth this whole thing of gender. Gender is a social construct. It's not rooted, in pretty much it's not rooted in truth. This is something that man has told you that because you're a woman, all right, you have to do certain duties. Because when you notice a trend that Spirit take me to look at, each wave that we went into leading up to this point, they took elements from the previous ones and just added on and made the shit more, more wicked, man. And so what Judith Butler was doing was adding on to it was a chick that we brought out on the last lesson, Betty. I think her name was Betty Friedman. Let me double check, make sure I said her name right. And so it's important to do the research on these individuals so that you understand, where this information is coming from. Yeah, so her name is Betty Friedman, but when you go into what her real name is, because she's another small hat, her name is Betty Naomi Goldstein. All right. And another trend that you pick up on when researching these different things is that the small hats have their hands in all this.
All of it.
When you go into all these influential figures of feminism, it all ties back to the small hats. All these women and men that were heavy influencers of this, they are all small hats, man. Which is why you have to understand where this information comes from so that you can be able to look up for yourself what is the truth, all right? Because this modern way of thinking that they have brought out is dangerous to humanity, man,
Yeah.
And when you go into what modern means, it means to be in opposition to the past. Because what they're trying to do by saying that these new innovative ways of thinking is beneficial for mankind because it's progressive, is regressive. It's actually bringing confusion. Because as we brought out, in that Wisdom of Solomon and in Romans, that this is a perverse spirit that is being pushed, man.
Right.
So going back to Judith Butler, so her whole movement was to pretty much sever the bonds of saying that gender was not, cohesive with sex. That's a whole different type of thing. So I just wanted to say some quotes that she said. So she says that masculine and feminine roles are not biologically fixed, but socially constructed, which is a lie because the scriptures detail the role of man and woman. All right. As a man, all right, as being the head of the household, our purpose of being a man is to provide and protect and run the household. And the woman and her role is to be a help and a nurturer to the house. That way she can, nurture the children and raise the children up under the spirit of the man so that lineage can be forwarded, man, But with the bringing in of the ideology of feminism, that brought destruction to that order that the Most High has set up because, what started with Betty Friedman, all right, she was saying that a woman's innate nature isn't based off of womanly duties. Her purpose is to bring forth her desires, putting her desires over her womanly duty, right? Which leads into what Judith Butler was saying that, well, if gender roles are socially constructed, then what is expected for a woman to do? That's just something that a man made to put a woman, under him, instead of that being a biological need. So what innately happened was she severed that connection to keep man and woman together, and brought forth this whole thing of, well, you can be whatever you want to. If you want to be you woman, you want to be a man, you want to take on manly duties, you can do that. If you a man, you could be a woman. You could do what women want to do. you know, which brings forth nothing but confusion.
Yep.
This is what the Most High told us not to go into these ways of thinking, which Eve ran head first into because she was beguiled by the serpent, man. You know, because it gives them more liberty and freedom to do what they want, which is led forth to destruction, man. You
That's
know, I got one more just to add to that.
right. Okay.
This
Okay.
is Rock chapter 25, verse 24. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Because through her way of thinking, through her trying to usurp authority over the man, all right, this is what brought sin in, because we know she brought that philosophy unto Adam, and Adam, consented with it, and therefore sin was bred, and this is why we all die. Okay. It says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather abroad. Because when the woman was given liberty, she ultimately would, this is what has allowed her to bring forth wickedness. And with the man being in the weak state, the weakened state that we are now, you know, mentally and physically, or mentally and spiritually more than physically, all right, they have, ran out of their wits. Therefore, they're following after her, not knowing that you're the one that's supposed to be putting her in order so that order can be bred within the household, man. So these different
Right.
women brought forth this whole idea of liberation. All right, because as we are going into with this third wave, this it pretty much gave women the ability to do what they wanted. All right, you want to be sexually free, you have the ability to do that now. This is why pornography rose up like this. Which when you go into the origins of pretty much why a lot of these so-called sexually liberated women, they come from, is because they were molested. They was raped at an early age, which goes
Yep.
back to what we bring out in Wisdom of Solomon 14, because those are different rituals that they used to do back in the ancient world to bring forth praise to them idols, man. So it all
Right.
ties together. You know,
That's
you got it,
right.
bro.
Uh, this this a land back off of you. What you were saying about Judith and how over sexualization of society, is a basically a ritual. You know what I'm saying? I have information in regards to Asherith that ties in exactly what you're saying. Uh, now this is Asherith. It says, to the Canaanites as Astarti, to the Sumerians she was known as Ionana, to the Babylonians she was known as Estar, to the Assyrians and the Akkadians Astart, Ashtoreth, Asherah, Ashtoreth, to the Egyptians Isis, Asith, Asit, and Aset, to the Phoenicians, she was known as Ashereth or Ashtoreth. Uh, to the our in the our or shore or Shah legend of Africa, Yemaye originated in Egypt as the goddess Isis. So this was all over the place, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And these various gods are known as fertility cults. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now going down, I want to get to something. It says male or female. The name Ashtar was ultimately derived from the second millennium BCE Phoenician goddess Astarte, an equivalent of Babylon as Ishtar, and the early Sumerian Inanna. She is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible in the forms of Ashtoreth and Ashtaroth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this latter form was directly transliterated in the early Greek and Latin versions of the Bible, where it was less apparent that it had been a plural feminine in Hebrew. Commonly, you will read that Ashtoreth is a male demon, but don't get yourself all worked up at this point. The name Ashtaroth as a male demon in is first known from the book of Abra Abra Lenin, purportedly written in Hebrew in 1458, and reoccurred in most occult grimoires of the following century. So here you have it. You have Asterisk. She was both. She was known as a female a god, right? Which was known for her fertility and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a goddess of fertility, um, and also a goddess of wisdom and things of that nature. Uh, and also in latter years, she began to be known as a male also. So in the 17th century, uh, if you read what you're going to read, it became more clear that it was a transgender. Okay, but it started off what with that women worship, bro.
Yep.
Whatever influence led to the creation of male demon Ashtoreth, thinkers of the 17th century were certainly aware of the paradox. John Sledden wrote a meditation of the idea of Ashtoreth, Ashtoreth as a gender fluid deity who could be worshipped as either sex. Okay, check this out. Milton in Paradise Lost, and this Paradise Lost is where they got the idea of Satan being cast down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Being cast down to earth. He was once the top singer of or musician in heavens, and decided to rebel. This is where they get that from. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now it says Milton in Paradise Lost. Balaam as Ashtoreth, those male, these female. You see that? And they use the same rhetoric that those, they, that you see going on now.
Mm-hmm.
For spirits, when they please, can either sex assume or both. Came Ashtoreth, who Phoenicians called Astarte, Queen of Heaven, with quest of horns, to whose bright image, nightly by the moon, Sidonians virgins paid their vows in songs. You see that? So the Sidonians are Hermetic. So you
Mm-hmm.
see all these various um, people were worshiping these fertility cults. Check this out. Even us. In Sion, also not unsung, where stood her temples of the offensive mountain. And what is this alluding to? This is alluding to Jeremiah. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Let's get this in Jeremiah for you guys, man. There's one that's shorter. Let's see here. It's Jeremiah like 7. I have the other one queued up, but it's lengthy. I'll go ahead and get that one since I already have it queued up. Or do I?
Yes. Go through the spirit, bro.
Yeah, I have it right here. Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah 40. Let's see. Jeremiah 40. Let's see here. I'm gonna do it this way. I want to make it concise. I don't bring out one that's too lengthy. Yeah, Jeremiah 7 and 18. The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. You see that? So we were worshiping this deity, okay? And in order for you to worship this deity, you got to do some foul things. That's why this was even in this point, it was in a fits to Sion, man. Okay,
Con.
I'm
And if
gonna
I
check
could jump in there real quick, I just want to add something real quick. Just like, as I brought out before we got on the camera, you still see different practices taking place today. Because one of the ways that these women pay homage to these damn idols, as we were talking about with the Asherah has the many names that have been changed over the years. You had the one El Nana you could look at on Google, and you seeing all these women with these different ass shots and BBLs. They are doing that in the essence to pay homage unto that idol, man. All right, because if you find the same picture, but you can fit they see it where you have that big ass, you know how these women are all walking around, looking like a damn ant. All right, that's them pretty much as a way how they forming a homage to that damn idol, man. So it's still Israel is still taking part in these different rituals to this day. But like I said, it's not blatant because a lot of them they do
mm-hmm,
it in ignorant, not knowing where it goes back to. But at the same time, man, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah has revealed it to us through the Spirit, so we can see these and call it out, man, for what it is, so that the ones that are sincere that may be practicing these things, they can repent from what they're doing, man, because that's a heavy offense, man, idolatry, you know.
mm-hmm. That's right. Trying to get one that look. There you go. That I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm trying to get one that kind of illustrate what you're saying. What you're saying, something like this. That big old. I know exactly what you mean. A big old booty all out. But as you can see, these females they got they cleavage out, the titties out,
Yep.
grabbing on themselves. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Seductive. This was even in stone. So as you can imagine, back in the day, boy, this was like, man,
This
this
was
was
the
like
pornography
modern
of
porn.
back then.
Yeah, look at that.
Hmm.
I don't
And
know
it's
if you
funny.
see that, but yeah,
And,
she's
and I was
grabbing
gonna say,
herself.
and it's funny because these are the same poses that you're seeing women do on Instagram now. You know,
Mm, yep, all of them grabbing themselves. You know, but she known as a fertility coach. Uh, I'm gonna read this for you. Traditional pagan offerings to Ashtoreth. It is strictly a sexual offering which is required. However, I will not go into detail as this is a public space, so I will quote you some historic passages and you will know what to do. So on this, we went to this particular page. Now this is a uh, a witch's page, okay, and it's
hmm
giving you insight on how to worship Ashereth. Okay, she said, "Look, I ain't gonna tell you what we do behind closed doors, but I'm gonna give you this little historical quote to give you a to give you some imagination, if you will.
yep,
Check this out. These practices were actually the offerings made to the gods at the time before the modern rich religious system took over 2,000 years ago. All pagan religions of the ancient Near East shared a common feature. We worship a mother goddess. It says in Ashtoreth. Now this is what he's quoting. In Ashtoreth's uh, worship service, male worshippers had anal sex with priests and priestesses of the goddess. They were viewed as an offering to the fertility goddess. The priests and male prostitutes who were consecrated to her cult were called Kadishim, or sodomites.
mm, mm.
You see that?
And
So I
is that
said,
not heavily pushed now?
yep. Even with women getting anal sex, the elder Yashwama had brought out how there's been a influx in STDs
Mm-hmm.
and also medical complications in women in Britain because of the rise in the want of anal sex.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Say the Most High, hey, he's judging, he's judging you people, man, because you are indulging in, idolatry, man, spiritual fornication. All right, because I always bring out everything that you do. It has a background that it goes back to something. So you never want to just do something just because it's pushed, and especially in America, you got to understand if they're pushing forward of something, then
yeah,
you
you
know
better
there's
look
some
at, better
wicked
look at.
undertone to it, man. You know,
Mhm.
which you had the rise with guys like Trick Daddy, Kevin Gates with eating booty, you know.
That's Val Pure. That's
Come
Val
on, man.
Pure, brother.
Come on, man. So that
That's
that goes
yeah.
to show you it's out of
Mm-hmm.
worship, man.
It's
But
idol
they're
worship.
pushing it as this is it's a
I'm
pleasure.
freaking. Yeah,
Freaky, yeah, you ain't a freak. You ain't a freak if you don't do that, man. Like, and,
yeah.
and these women, a lot of them, they know that. Because I had a woman actually tell me, because I told her I don't do that shit. She was like, "Oh, I'll turn you out." I'm like, they
Yeah,
get off on that shit, man. They get
yep.
off on bringing women or bringing men into that realm, man.
To
You
that
know,
round. Yep. Yes they do. Yep. Yes
so
they do.
it's sick, man. We live in a sick world, man. You know,
Well, a lot of these women, boy, that you think, oh man, she's gorgeous, but she done did some off the wall stuff, and
man.
there's a reason why they walk right. They hang out with them gay niggas.
Exactly. Hey, they be taking part in that shit, man. Because even though the dude I ain't gonna get too deep in
No,
that.
we ain't gotta get deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Like homeboy said, this is a public space, so we can go just quote some things, okay?
Right, right.
You know what I'm
you
saying?
have you have more on that. 'Cause I wanted to bring out the second part of that, what you was bringing as far as the worship.
Okay, I could keep on going on it, brother.
Kind.
Uh, it says, and I know it, you know, this stuff happens, brothers. I know this is kind of weird, but this is what they do. Okay,
Right.
anal sex between male and male worshippers and male and female worshippers were viewed as an offering to the goddess Ashtoreth. Fertility rites were practiced as at the numerous shrines were dotted, which dotted the land, as well as the major sanctuaries. So when you read in the scriptures and they say, oh well, they're going to the high places to worship these idols. This is what it's talking about. They'll have various sites that they'll go to make these sacrifices. And Jake was doing some. Jake was tripping, bro.
Yeah.
This is why we went to captivity, brothers. It wasn't
Yeah.
this we were just tripping, like, oh God, man, God tripped, man. He saw me, doing Christmas, man. It's for the kids. No, bro, we were tripping. Jake was tripping, bro. You know, this
And
was on another level.
and like I said, today's standard of what we're talking about is highly watered down compared to how it used to be, because it's more spiritual than physical. Back then, it was still a highly spiritual what they were doing, but it was more physical. So in today's practice, like I said, it's watered down because, like you said, when you act, I don't even say it's watered down because when you actually go into these Hollywood parties and shit, they're doing exactly what you're reading about in this article. These them orgies, they
Some
go to them
people,
parties and do them orgies, man. They're doing exactly what is
yep,
being read on here. This is why he said he didn't want to go into it because it's a public space. But these things are being done, just not in the public like they were back then.
yeah, and you gotta think there was a whole temple in which you could just go and just freak off, bro.
Yeah,
like damn, bro, like man, I'm about to go to this temple right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's what's going on. Now it's more so, like you said, it's on the internet. It's readily available.
Mm-hmm.
You might, freak off with, but it's on the internet. But bro, back in the day, you were going into these temples, you were seeing this, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And all types of things were going on. Even children being killed was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it was freaky. So I'm gonna finish this though.
All right.
Fertility rites were practiced at the numerous shrines which dotted the land, as well as the major sanctuaries. A characteristic feature of the fertility cults was sacral sexual intercourse by priests and priestesses and other especially consecrated persons, sacred prostitutes of both sex. Children sacrifice was also a feature of the rites.
Yep.
You know.
Mhm. And this is why the children thing is mainly being talked about as of late, because children play a high part in these occultic, satanic rituals, man. Would you go into, Aleister Crowley, and Anton LaVey and these different, Satanists, they do heavy satanic worship, which involves children sacrifice, man. This is why America doesn't like to talk about, Epstein Island, Pizzagate, and these different
Yeah.
sex trafficking, because hey, sex trafficking in America is one of the most lucrative businesses that they have here, man. you know but that's not
Mm,
talked about, because then you have to address the satanic side of it too, which they don't want to do. you know
hmm
because this place
Yeah.
this
Because
this place is spiritual Egypt. All right, when you go into the damn wickedness that them Hamites was doing back then, man, this is what Esau was doing, because a part of Satanism is you have to defile yourself, and the more defiled you are, the more you're able to tap in on that left hand power, man.
that's right. That's right. Uh, I think I got something for you.
You got it.
Uh, Wisdom of Solomon 12 and verse uh 4. No, verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and
Mm,
also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood with their
yeah.
priests.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. Uh, that the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. Which really the point was, those merciless murderers of children, man, and they're doing this. They were doing it in the land of Canaan, right? And now they're doing it. What I'm saying, in modern day Egypt
Hmm.
now. On a very broad scale, on a very uh, strategic scale, to destroy these kids, man. And like you said earlier, the kids aren't physically being sacrificed, but spiritually, they're being, like, case in point, look what they're being taught. They're being, indoctrinated in worshiping basically asterisk, what I'm saying, Baal Peor, you know what I mean?
Yep. Because you see it, and they're able to slip this in under the guise of this whole feminism, uh, 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 the whole Black Lives Matter. Because that's another thing. That's why when you look at the thumbnail I put up, they you see how they introduced it under a mask, because the whole civil rights thing
Mm,
was a front to bring in this whole fight for moles and trans people.
mm-hmm,
And so now they're trying to bring it in with race, but also bring it in with feminism, because feminism, they know that with women who are now the leaders, of the family because the man has been moved out the way. These women are openly bringing this out, not even realizing that they're sacrificing their children
Right.
to idols, man. You know
Right. Yeah, because women aren't governed by their emotions,
exactly.
so your emotions can be easily persuaded. That's why that whole term trans fluidity, that's really was it was a play on women's basically the nature of a woman, man. A nature of a woman, she's gonna be emotional. Most High made her that way.
Right.
Satan knows how to play on on that nature for his hidden agenda of transhumanism.
Time. That's why, hey, Satan went to Eve, or the serpent went to Eve in the garden. You
Yep.
know, I got something real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Now, it says how children are oppressors. Hey, that's being the Edomites, man. Ultimately, all right, they are oppressing us, and it says, and women rule over them because they have propped the women above the man now, and so their policy that they're wanting to bring through, they're using the woman to bring it through, and they're destroying the household because of that. It says, "Oh
That's
my
right.
people, they would lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy path." Right, because these women, like I said, are unknowingly introducing these wicked acts unto our people, not realizing what they're doing. Now, as we was mentioning with Judith Butler, all right, as I said, the teachings that she derived from, all right, she didn't come up with that on her own. All right, it was another person that she learned that from, and his teachings are still being perpetrated today within the whole gender studies and queer studies. Now, try to share my screen real quick.
Mm-hmm. We'll grab my charger real quick out.
You good, bro?
Okay.
All right, put this up. So what you're seeing right here, this is from TikTok, but it was clipped from this documentary called "What Is a Woman," which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have watched. But if not, that's something good to watch because this just goes on to show you the byproduct of what what this whole transhuman feminism bullshit has brought out. All right, so let's take a listen. As you see from the comment that's on here, it says, if this is what they're pushing now, what would the world look like when our children grow up and have kids of their own? So this is the idea of
The origins of the transgender ideology.
transgender ideology. So listen.
Judeo-Christian values when it came to sexuality. And he worked very hard to do that, and I would say he succeeded.
Kinsey would be very happy with our culture today. His idea was that children are sexual from birth. That we're all inherently sexual creatures from cradle to grave. He believed that true happiness is found in a life of perverse sexual experimentation, no matter the age.
What came out is that his research was fraudulent.
Kinsey based his fraudulent conclusions on data he collected from convicted sex offenders and child molesters. His research was conducted in prisons, not in everyday America. He also performed horrific sexual experiments on children, some under the age of 1. His most influential book, Sexual Behavior in the Human Male, contains an infamous chart called Table 34, which documents the orgasms of very young kids, including babies as young as 5 months old. But instead of suffering the consequences for his heinous actions, he was and still is celebrated by academia and Hollywood. His idea formed the foundation for sexual education in public schools today.
So he's the start. Alfred Kinsey is the start of where this sick ideology of where children, children are pretty much non-gender from birth. They're sexual from birth. So as what they was breaking down was this sick individual would conduct experiments on children from different ages. He even down from babies and put them through like intense torture to try to see if they can, orgasm. And so that book that he was bringing out was pretty much his recordings of what he did during that experiment. So this man studying and the other guy they're about to talk about is the basis of where all these different people get their information that is being used today in gender studies and this transgender ideology. So let's finish it out.
From this to you can choose your own gender.
Okay, well now we have another very important character. His name was John Money.
John Money was a psychologist and professor at Johns Hopkins University. Gender ideology was his brainchild. In fact, he coined the terms gender identity and gender roles. And according to Money, babies are gender neutral at birth. And ultimately, environment determines whether a person is a man or a woman.
Money is telling the world about his theory that a boy could.
You want to say something out?
No, I was just being edified.
Raised as a girl and do just fine, and vice versa.
And so Money tried out his theory on two young twin boys, the Reimer twins.
When the twins were 8 months old and they went to be circumcised, the first twin, whose name was Bruce, something went wrong with the machinery and his penis was burnt off. They stopped and didn't do a second circumcision on the other twin, as you might imagine. And the parents, of course, didn't know what to do. How are they going to raise this child?
John Money convinced Bruce's parents to transition him into a girl. Money also conducted sexually abusive experiments on the twins throughout their childhood, including forcing them to simulate sex acts with each other.
Reported up to the age of 10 that this was a complete success. Well, it wasn't true.
The results were a disaster. Bruce could never fully accept his female identity. Eventually, his parents told him the truth and he chose to transition back to a boy, taking the name David. As an adult, David spoke out about the abuse and the damage done to him by John Money.
The girls would do their things with their Barbies and things like that. That wouldn't interest me. And things such as trucks and moving forts and getting to the fist fight, climbing trees, that's the kind of stuff that I like, but it was unacceptable. So as a girl, I had no place to fit in.
The trauma that he and his brother and his entire family went through left deep scars. His brother died of an overdose when he was 38, and then David committed suicide.
There was never a retraction or an apology from John Money. Instead, his ideas were adopted by mainstream psychology, and they form the basis of gender ideology today. Why don't more people know about John Money and Alfred Kinsey?
Evidently, there are forces that don't want this information out.
Now, everything that was just spoke on in this TikTok that you've seen, this is what we brought out as far as the type of worship that is being done to these different idols, because the information that is being used to support the claims of these damn devils, people don't know the sick things that they were doing to get the information that they have now, which when you see the byproduct of what everything is being done, all right, it has made society worse, because this whole differentiating and separating sex from gender has left people confused, man. And when you watch that I Am a Woman or What is a Woman documentary in full, this whole gender, you could be whatever you want, have left society confused, man. Like nobody, to the point to where he was going around asking the simple question of what is a woman, and nobody could give him a straightforward answer. This is the result of this whole thing of why Esau, his ideas should not be even entertained in the slightest, man, because he's brought forth nothing but confusion. This is why this is Babylon the Great, man.
That's right.
Isaiah 60:2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." Right. And we are in the midst of gross darkness, man. Total confusion, where we have to be delivered from this shit, man. Because as that comment on the video has said, if we're seeing how things are right now, just imagine if the Lord would allow society to progress even 5 years from now, man. All right, you got today people saying that there are trees, there are dogs, there you can literally be whatever you want. According to Esau science now, there's over 100 something genders. You know, it's nothing but mass confusion, man.
That's right.
But this is all brought out to ultimately destroy our people, because our people are the main ones taking hold of this, especially Eve. All right, who is now shaming men who say that they don't want to take part in dealing with trans women, which is men. Ultimately, it's a whole thing that a movement that's called transphobia, to where you got Keisha, the black woman, all right, shaming men that don't want to deal with trans women, man. You know, and then when you go into what was going on with that whole thing with John Money with them two boys, their mother, after that accident happened with the one brother got his rod damaged by the circumcision, it was the mother who it was her idea to raise up that boy as a girl, which shows you that back in that Sirach 25, through the woman becomes the beginning of sin, man. All right, because women are easily susceptible to Satanism. All right, and this is why you need the man in the forefront to cut that at the head, man. You know, because the man's supposed to set the foundation, which is for us the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now that we're moved out the way, this is why our people are suffering like we are, man. You know, you got to.
I don't really have anything, bro. I have a precept, but it's a little lengthy.
Okay, go ahead.
Now this is Jeremiah 44, and I started 15. Jeremiah had this is a backdrop. Jeremiah just rebuked them and told them to stop worshiping other gods like Queen of Heaven, because they were just removed to the land of Egypt, because of Israel was being taken over by the Babylonians at the time. Okay, so this is Jeremiah 14. Jeremiah 44 and 15. It says, "Then are the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of Yahweh, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offering unto her, as we have done, we, our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the city of Judah, in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. So here you have it. Our woman was told by the prophet to stop worshiping the Queen of Heaven. They said, no, this has brought worshiping the Queen of Heaven has brought us success. And this is what our women think about feminism.
Mm-hmm.
And why would I stop being a feminist when it brought me success? I don't need a man to buy me anything. I could do what I want. I could sleep what I want. I could go where I want anytime that I want. Okay? And unknowingly, the woman that's uplifting this is causing death not only within herself, but in her community, man.
Yeah. The nation has suffered because of that of their idolatry, man. You know?
That's right.
And this is why the Most High ultimately has given them over unto them idols, to them demons, man, to destroy themselves.
Yep, to a reprobate mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit more on that. Or that was it.
No, that's it on that. I don't want to, that's it on that.
I could finish that Romans 1 out, and then that's all I had.
Okay.
Kind. So going back to Romans 1, I'm gonna start back at 25 and just read the rest of the chapter. It says Romans 1:25, who changed the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahushua into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And we know that's Esau. All right, the so-called white man, he has changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. And now you have these people worshiping themselves, all right, the creation more than the creator. Okay. It says, for this cause, Yahweh Shem Yahushua gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural youth into that which is against nature, and likewise also the man, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meant. So these different acts that these people are doing to pay homage to them idols, the Lord has given them over to them demons. That's why they live the type of destructive, death style that they do. All right. And they're suffering for that, as you brought out the example with the video Elder Yashawama brought out. And these people are suffering from these diseases from taking part in these different vile sex acts, man. Living that type of debauchery lifestyle, man. They're suffering for it, man, because that's the Lord bringing judgment upon them. It says, as even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, Yahweh Shem Yahushua gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. So this is why they're pretty much stuck in that spirit to keep doing that shit, even though they know that it's destroying them, man. Because that's ultimately their judgment the Lord is giving them unto. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, haters of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, proud, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, merciful, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So they're ultimately, as I said, they were given over to these idols to their destruction. And this is why these acts that they're doing is destroying them, man. And all those that continue to cling onto that will all face the judgment of the Most High, which is that destruction, man.
That's right.
Because as Israelites, man, we being the Lord's holy people, that word holy means separate. So we're supposed to be separate from these different, vile and deplorable acts, man. But our people, they love it so. So therefore, the Lord is going to destroy you because essentially you're polluting the Lord's temple. Our bodies are temples of the Most High, and so when you're defiling the Lord's temple, the Lord says He's going to destroy you. So this is the byproduct of what all this is. What we're going into is, man, is destruction. All right. The Lord's going to destroy all those that continue to walk in this path of the serpent, man. All right.
That's right.
But yeah, that's all I had though.
That's right. When that came out, brother.
Kind. So yeah, man. Lord willing, man, this lesson was edifying because we have to bring these things out so that our people have a complete understanding of first and foremost what this goes back to, and to know that the Most High spoke about these things. This ain't nothing new, as the scriptures say, man. There's nothing new under the sun. All right.
Yeah.
This has been tried before and has always failed for our people, for that society in general. Because one last footnote to add, it's I forget the chick's name, but it's a woman who brought out. It's always recorded at the end of society when transgenderism and homosexuality was at an all-time high. That spelled the end of that kingdom. That's on the books. You can look this up. So when you could tell society was about to collapse, when the things that we're seeing now, transgenderism, homosexuality, this gender fluidity, and all, when that's running rampant, that details the fall of a society, because society can't prosper when that is being
Yep.
pushed. You know,
That's right.
so this lets us know that America is finished. Babylon the Great is about to be destroyed, man, because the Most High is not going to allow this wicked kingdom to continue on with these different things that's being pushed, man. All right, because it's not giving reverence to the Heavenly Father and His Son. All
That's
right.
right.
So with that, we pray this lesson was edifying. We want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rokal Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught us the truth and that rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect. Until next time, we say Shalom.
Shalom.